Hey guys, it's the weekend. It is Sunday. Thank God. I'm in my church. Look behind me. I'm in my surroundings. Oh, it doesn't get any... Oh, it does get better than this. I see something in the background. Okay. So what are we doing today? Well, you missed out. I don't know where the hell you guys were. Where were you? Where were you during the week? Let me guess, you were at work. Well, anyway, so was I. What we did miss out on is I dropped the rear end out of here. I wasn't going to do a video on that. It was like a half hour and I had it out of there. The gentleman came that bought the engine, the tranny, the diff and all that, and I had to get the diff out. So anyway, the diff is out and gone. So there we go. So today I have dragged in the 41 Ford dash and the 51 Ford dash. 10 years apart. Look at the difference over 10 years. Crazy, eh? So I'm gonna see where I'm gonna go here with these two dashboards. Like I said, I'm trying to build this car. I'm trying to do it, I'm trying to use what I got around the yard, around the shop. Old school hot rodding. There are some other dashes out there I do like a little better than both of those. I don't hate these. I like these dashes or I wouldn't even be here. I do like them. I don't love them, but I like them. They're very cool. And I'm just trying to use what I got around here because that's what it's all about. So what I'm doing today is, obviously I'm going to pull the pitman arm off here because I got to pull the pitman arm because I got to get this steering box and column out of the way. I can't do nothing with that shit in there. And if you remember last time where we left off, we had the engine, the tranny, the rad, the fan. We had all that stuff in place, done. Tranny mounts made up, sitting underneath there. You can see it right there. So what I'm waiting on now is I'm waiting on the water pump plate to raise it up. And then I'm going to put that on. And I've also ordered the headers on the engine. I'm going to put all that stuff on before I even, before I get too carried away. I want to get all that stuff on there. I want to make sure that everything fits. So one more time, I'm going to put it in there before I send this engine to the machine shop. So, and I also got to get the diff back in here. I got a 57 Chevy diff I told you I'm putting in with a posi. So I want to get that all put together, squared away with all the Pete and Jake brackets and get that underneath the car. I want to make sure the rolling chassis is done, completed, and finished. Then I can blow the car apart and I can blow the chassis apart and get all that stuff blasted and go from there. Then I can decide, while that's getting all done and put back together, I can be working on the body and doing the body work. So, right now, I'm going to get this pitman arm off. I'm going to get this steering box out of here and column. And then we're going to go from there. We'll start playing with some dashboards today. I think that sounds like a plan on a wet Sunday afternoon. So let's get to it. Okay, so I got the steering box off here. Drag link's just hanging there for now. I set the top of the cowl back up there, which, as a lot of you guys know, this originally on the Model A was the fuel tank. That's why the cap's there. That was originally the tank. I just set it on there just so I know. I don't want to just start cutting the dash up and putting it in here till I know what's going on here. Now, most people, what they do, because this is your fuel tank, as you can see, and on a Model A, this is where the fuel gauge went. It had a little chrome cluster that went around here, and this was your fuel gauge hooked off a bobber. So that was all they had for a dash. So a lot of people, they end up cutting all this out so they have access to, to get stuff up in there, your wiring, your harness, all that bullshit. So I wanted to put that in there to see where I was at. Now this bar you don't touch whatsoever. That's your window opening. Everything kind of attaches to that, your cowl, everything. So I just wanted to see where everything was at. Like I say, I like to fit things together before I just start cutting and chopping stuff up. So we're going to get some measurements here, and then we're going to see where we go for dashboards here. I'm torn here, and I'm going to do whatever I end up liking. I like the 41 dash because it's curved, it's round, it's more, it's 41, the car's 31, so it's 10 years newer. It's kind of got a cool look to it. I'm not too keen on the slotted gauges, but I could change that. I could change that. I can do anything because I work with metal. Now I like the 51 dash because it's already got holes in it where you can take it out, you got your speedo there, and you can put some nice Stuart Warner gauges in there. And I like that kind of that pattern right there it's got going on. But keep in mind, both these dashes have to be cut and sectioned. What I mean by sectioned, they have to be shortened, because they're too wide to go in this car. So I don't know what route I'm going to go, but I'm going to think this one over carefully here. So I may not get as much done today as I'd like to get done, because sometimes you got to stop and think about it. Because I'm not about to start just cutting up a dash and then think, you know what, I'll use the other one now. Because then now I've destroyed a dash. It's probably worth a few $100, right? So let's get some measurements and let's get some, let me get some thoughts what I want to do. I've seen both of these dashes in Model A's. They both look very good. And, well, I'll just go from there, I guess. Okay, so I grabbed the 51 dash. I did. And I took all the stuff off it, all the mesh, the speaker, the gauges, the trim that goes along here. Took it all off. Okay. Some people, I've seen these in some people, what they've done when you put them in cars, they'll shorten the glove box up. They'll cut the glove box door and cut it in half. I honestly don't want to do that. I just don't want to. I want as much room as I can possibly have in this car to store shit in. Because it's a small car and I plan on driving the piss out of it and going places with it. And I don't mean just day trips. I plan on going away for some weekend trips too. So I need storage. The next thing I did was, as you saw, I took the column out. So I went and got another column tube that I had that was exactly the same. And I stuck it back in there. Because the thing is that the column is going to come up in the same spot no matter what. It's not going to change. So with the column tube, with no steering box on it, if you see over here, every time I want to put this in and out, I have to deal with the steering box. It's a heavy son of a bitch. So this is a lot easier to put this column tube in without the steering box. I can just do that quickly on and off by myself because I know where everything's going to go. And of course later on when I go to fit the dash, before I weld the dash up properly and before, you know, I'm get too carried away, I'll put the proper steering box in with the wheel on it and make sure we got a good fit. But for right now, this is going to work out perfect for me. This tube is coming down like it should. It's telling me where everything's going to be. So my next step is I'm going to get this. I'm going to somehow clamp or hold this dash in here, because I can already tell by looking at it. This is the center of my gauge, and I want the center of my gauge to be in center with my column that's coming up there. So I already know for a fact it's not going to be about just sectioning a piece out of here and welding it back together. I'm going to have to take a piece out of here too. I kind of quickly threw some pen marks right there. And I don't even know if I can see where these ones are. There's one right here and one over here. I'm going to have to take them. This dash is going to be cut up into a lot of pieces. So there's no way I'm going to get all this done today. So this might be a little bit of a boring video for you guys, but I'll do as much as I can for today and play with it and have some fun, because that's what it's all about. And if I can at least just get it cut up today, and maybe even a couple tacks where it should be in place, I'll be super happy. But yeah, I don't care about the speaker. Don't give a shit. Don't even care about the radio. And I've got a whole different idea for what I'm going to use for a gauge cluster here too. Wait till you see that. Totally different. I've got a real, just you'll see. I don't need this. This is where the heater controls were in a 51 Ford. I don't need that. I'm not having a heater in this car. I don't need a heater in this car. No heater, no radio. That's what the pipes are there for, to listen to the sound of that engine. Plus, the bloody thing will be so damn loud you're never going to hear a radio anyway. So I'm going to try and clamp this in the car, get some proper measurements, and do some cutting. And at the end of the day, if I screw it up and I cut it in the wrong spot, it's only metal, I'll weld it back together. That's why I don't get rid of anything. I hang on to all of it. I'll just weld it back together. So, yeah, it looks like we're going to go with the 51 dash, but we're going to change it drastically. Alright, as you can see, I've started cutting the shit out of this 51 dash. Don't ask me what I'm doing. I'm just having fun. And that's what it should be about. It should be about having fun. I'm getting there. Okay, so how can I explain this to you guys? I've set the window in the car now too. I wanted to put the window up in there. Of course, you don't want to be doing welding or grinding at the window in there. I don't want to screw my window up because that's new. But what I'm doing here is like this piece, if this makes any sense, kind of hard to hold the camera. There's first piece, going to go like that. Now I'm trying to center, see my column, I dropped it down now. I'm trying to center it with this. Because like I said, I want to have my gauges in the center of the wheel, or at least as close as I can. So, you know, what I've done here is, if it makes any sense, this was all one big part there. Then the dash was on the other end of it, here, this piece. Alright? So I had to get rid of this. This doesn't work. So now we're going to go like that. Well, here, we're going to go, everything's falling apart. You can see, we're going to go, it's hard to hold the camera and hold that. We're going to go like that. And that's going to be my first section. That lines up, this divot here, lines up with my column. So I'm going to go like that. And then I'm going to kind of just hold it up in there, see what I got to do. Remember now, I said I want to keep the full glove box. I've seen guys where they've sectioned it here and made a minier glove box. I don't want to do that. So I definitely want to keep this section. So my next step is, I'm going to tack this together now. Then I'm going to take this, I'm going to get this back in the car, get a measurement, and I'm going to butt this end up to the passenger side door. And I'm going to see where I got to go to get this. Because you got to remember too, this curve, I want to keep this. So when you're sectioning something, you don't really section in the curve, right? It's too hard to join back up. You go where the straightest point is. So I'm going to be losing a bunch of this when I get to that step. But we're not there right now. Right now I'm going to put a couple tacks on here. And then I'm going to stop for a lunch break because it's now 12 o'clock. I'm out here for a couple hours. That's right, a couple hours. I'm going to stop for a lunch break and have a little something to eat. But I do got my Coca-Cola in a glass bottle going right over there. It's all good. Okay, let's continue on, see if we can get a couple tack welds on here. Okay, we're going to do a little chopping here now. But before we do some chopping, now this isn't exactly in place, but do you get my vision? Are you getting this? Don't look at any of this, because that all gets welded and cleaned up later. What you're looking at is here and here. Let me get through the back window here. Maybe that'll look better as you film it. There we go. It's not perfectly set, but see there how the column is going to come right up through like it should. So like I say, do not pay attention to that. Pretend that's all welded up and those holes don't exist. What I'll do is down in there, I'll put a new hole. Just like, you know, a smaller hole right there. Headlights. That can be ignition. Maybe I'll weld that hole up. Maybe I won't. We'll see. So see, now I got to finish the rest of the dash off and get it going across here. But there's an idea where I'm going with it. And you can see when I cut it down, here's this body line that was here. We took a big section of it out, right? And now I just line it right back up again. So now we got to start cutting the other half, which is right here. So I got to do some measurements, and away we go. Okay, let's see where we're at here. It's kind of taped in. Mind you, it's falling down. The tape ain't gonna hold it. So I've taken the center section out and I've kind of put that. I chopped some out. You can see because the hole on that side is not all the way around. So I've chopped out a good section there. I've got to chop out some here now. And the reason I'm doing this is this dashboard has a curve like that, then levels out, then it curves down again, which I wasn't even thinking about when I was doing this. So if we stop and we look back here at this piece, I don't know if you can see that. See how it's going uphill? I wanted to keep the whole glove box door. I didn't want to start sectioning it down. I wanted as much storage as I can. And I could have kept it. The problem is that the dash would have been all the way uphill here, and it would have had a short little piece going downhill right here. So see, this has had a piece taken out of it. So see how this goes up just for a bit, and then I get my slope. So I'm going to have to take a piece out of here to match. I could have left it, and probably the average person wouldn't have noticed, but any kind of hot rod guy or car guy would have noticed. So I'm going to see where we're at here. But the thing is that I'm getting it welded together. So we've got the first piece, we'll go with number 1 in the far corner. Number 2 is where the cluster goes. Number 3 is there. Number 3 is going to probably get cut in the center of the next hole on the end. So that we cut like that one is there to take that section out. Then I can play with this section and see. So I should be able to get everything tacked up here before the day ends. The day's going really quick today. I don't know why. I guess I shouldn't have went to the gym. I wasted 2 hours at the gym when I could have been working on my car. But anyway, I got to be in shape to work on my car. So let's see what we can get done here next. Okay, so I haven't attempted to get cut into the gas tank because I'm a long ways behind here and the day's come to an end. Now this is going to look a little rough to you, but there it is shortened up. We went from 59 inches down to 41. Now don't forget, this is all going to get welded over with a solid piece of metal. Then I'm going to put my holes back where I want. I got to do some fine tuning here to round this a little better. I was able to keep the glove box intact as one big glove box. So that's it, guys. So until next week, and I can get back on it, we're gonna call it a day. We got some heavy rainstorms starting out here, real bad. My basement's starting to get water inside. I have to go deal with that. So that's where my Sunday's gonna end. You can even see the rain is blowing towards my garage doors. Look at this. Even here, it's just coming in. So I had to put some towels across the door. So, with that being said, I got to get my priorities somewhat straight, and I can't stay out in the garage and work on the hot rod all day. So hey, we're going to head back into the house and do some tidy up in the basement. And hopefully next week, we're back on the Model A. See you later.